In this video, we'll be discussing section 3.4 from chapter 3 of S1, and we'll be discussing stem and leaf diagrams. Okay, so stem and leaf diagrams are also again another way of visually representing data. In this case, every data point that you have, okay, every data point that you have will be broken down into a stem and into a leaf. Okay, and we basically group every leaf according to the stem. Okay, now how you break it down depends on the value. Okay, so it does you do not have a particular rule that you need to always break the stem from the leaf in the same manner. Okay, so let's say that in if you have a data set where you have 42, 58, 60. Okay, in this case you'll be breaking down the data as 4,425860. Okay, in some other case, let's say that you have a different case where instead of 42, 58 and 60, you were given 4.2, 5.8 and 6.0. In this case, you'd break it down as 425860. Okay, so here you're breaking it down at the decimal point, here you're breaking it down between tens and ones. Okay, so in each case, in each question, the way you break down the stem and leaf could be different. Okay, the way you break down the stem and leaf could be different, and the only thing is that once you're done with breaking down the stem and the leaf, you need to put down a key. Okay, so that whoever is reading your stem and leaf diagram is able to understand what, let's say, 4,2 means. Okay, does 4,2 mean 42, or does 4,2 mean 4.2, or does 4,2 mean 420? Okay, so in this case, in the first case, 4 by 2 means 42, but in the second case, 4 by 2 refers to 4.2. okay, so you do need a key, okay, to help your reader understand what exactly 4 and 2 means. Okay, now we can easily compare even two different sets of data by drawing two stem and leaf diagrams back to back, but we'll consider that example later. Let's first consider example 6, which is a simple stem and leaf diagram. In this case, we are given the blood glucose levels of 30 males. Okay, this is on page number 40. Okay, we are given the blood glucose for 30 males. Okay, and the results are in millimoles per liter, and they're given on page 40. Okay, and you're asked to draw a stem and leaf diagram to represent the data. Now, the first step is to arrange the data. So the first step is even in the data that you notice. Okay, the data is not given in ascending order. It is not been ordered properly. In that case, the first step is to arrange the data in ascending order. Okay, so once you are done with arranging the data in ascending order, which they have done on page number 41, okay, after that you start drawing the stem and the leaf. Okay, over here notice that they are all decimal values. You have 1.4 as the very first value, and you have 5.2 as the very last value. Okay, and they are all decimal places with one decimal place, and decimal numbers with one decimal place. So you break it down at the decimal point. Okay, in that case you'll be having stems 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and the leaf would be the decimal number. Okay, so let's start. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the stems. Okay, and then we separate the stems from the leaves. Okay, so this is the stem, those would be the leaves, and over here the leaves would be for the first one 1.4, the stem is 1, the leaf is 4. Okay, for the second one it is 2.1, that would be 2 stem 1 leaf. 2.2 would be 2 here, 2 here. 2.4, 2.5 would be 2.4, 2.5. okay, so all the stems are, the stem is always on the stem side, the leaves are all on the right side. Okay, the stems are on the left side, the leaves are on the right side. Okay, so the next value is 3.2. okay, so somewhere along this line you have 3.2, and you're breaking it down between 3 and 2. okay, so 3 is the stem, 2 is the leaf. Okay, then you have is 3.5, 3.6, 3.6, 3.6, so 3.5, so that's 3.5. Then you have 3.6 3 times, so 3 is the stem, 6 is the leaf. Okay, then you have is 3.7, 3.7, 3.8, 3.8. So 3.7, 3.7, 3.7 repeats twice. Then you have 3.8, 3.8. Okay, and then we have is 4.0, 4.1, 4.2, 4.2. So 4.0. Okay, for 4.0 the stem is 4, the leaf is 0. Then you have 4.1, 4.2, 4.2. Okay, then you have is 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, 7, 7, 7. 7 appears 4 times, so we have 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay, 4.7, and then we have 4.8, and finally we have 5.0, 5.1, 5.1, and 5.2. So 5.0, 5.1, 5.1, 5.2. Okay, so notice we are done now with the stem diagram almost. We just have to do a few more touches. Okay, so over here there is no specific rule that you need to always break it down in between the decimal point. Over here, breaking it down in between at the decimal point is the most feasible one. Like, where else would you break it down? Okay, there is no other place that you break it down. In this case, breaking it down at the decimal point gives you 5 different stems. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the rest would be leaves. Okay, and notice the reason that you're doing this in ascending order is because your leaves should always be in ascending order. Okay, so it should be in ascending order. Okay, you cannot start it. Let's say if your first value was 4.8 in your unarranged data, when in the not arranged data, if your first value is 4.8, you cannot write 4.8 here. Okay, 8 is going to be at the very end of the data. Okay, it is always going to be in ascending order. Okay, so since the data is always in ascending order, okay, we try to first arrange the whole data in ascending order. That way, making the stem and leaf diagram is going to be easier. Now, next step is we are done with the stem and the leaf, but let's first write in the key. Okay, the key would be, in this case, 1 by 4. What does 1 by 4 mean? 1 by 4 is equal to 1.4 millimole per liter. Okay, 1 by 4 in this case means 1.4 millimole per liter. Millimole per liter is the unit that is in question, because in the question they're giving us the blood glucose in millimoles per liter. So be careful. It's better to write down the unit. Okay, but this part is definitely important, because just by looking at this I not be able to understand what does 1 by 4 mean. Okay, unless and until I actually look at the key. Okay, so the key is definitely an important aspect here. Okay, now an optional thing, and even though it's optional, it's better that you do it. Okay, is to write down the frequencies. Okay, because that might actually help you in your later parts. Okay, because let's say that if your question asks you the median, the quartiles, or the mode in not mode, the median, the quartiles, usually for those questions, and knowing the frequencies does help. So over here, the first one has got frequency 1. It just have one value. You just have one leaf. Okay, the number of leaves is the frequency. So in the first one you have just 1. So write it separately down, 1. Okay, and then in the second one we have 4. So write it down separately, 4. Then we have in the third one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 leaves in the fourth stem, and there are 4 leaves in the final stem. Okay, this one should actually be written down over here, but because of the lack of space, I did not write it. Let me just write it down here. Okay, so write down the frequencies in brackets. Okay, away from this data. Okay, do not mix it up with the data. Okay, away from the data, put some space and write down the frequencies. So again, the base when you're given the data set, first arrange it in ascending order. Determine how you're going to break down the stem and the leaves. Write down the stems, and then go on writing the leaves in ascending order, and then finally complete with the key and the frequencies. In this case, notice if you add up all the frequencies, you get what? You get 12 plus 4 plus 4, 20 plus 9 plus 1, which is 30. So 30 is the total, which actually matches the total that is given in the question. The question says that you have been given the data for 13 men. Okay, so this total does match. Okay, now even though this is not all box and not all stem and leaf diagrams do have the frequency, but it's a good idea to just write down the frequency and continue and complete the diagram. Now in part B, they're asking us to use this diagram to find the mode, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, and the median. Okay, it is not possible to find the mean, because to find the mean you have to add up all the values. Okay, and a stem diagram does not help you in that particular aspect. But to find the mean, let's talk about how to find the to find the median. Okay, the median would be, notice we have 30 total values. Okay, n is equal to 30. Okay, since n is equal to 30, in that case half of it is going to be 15. Okay, so half of it is equal to 15, which is an exact value. So since this is an exact value, we'd consider this value and the next value and divide the whole thing by 2, because this is discrete data. Notice that this data is discrete. So we'd consider 15th plus the 16th by 2. And because we have written down the frequencies, notice that this is the advantage of writing down the frequencies. We have written down the frequencies, we can easily count where is the data. So first 1 plus 4, 5. So this is the first value. This is 1 plus 4, the fifth value. This is 5 plus 9, the 14th value. So the 14th value is this. We need 15th and 16th. So we are not done yet. 14th is this one. 15th and 16th is this 2. So we write this as 4.0 plus 4.1 divided by 2, which is 4.05. Write down the unit, millimole per liter. Okay, 4.0 divided by plus 4.1, the whole by 2, millimole per liter. Now next we have is the lower quartile Q1. Q1 is going to be, let's divide this by 4, we get n by 4 is equal to 7.5. So since this is not a whole number, round it up, we get the 8th value. So let's start back again. 1, this is the first value. This is the 1 plus 4, fifth value. We need the 8th value, so 6, 7, 8. 8th value is this one. So that's going to be 3.6 millimole per liter. Again, don't forget the unit. Okay. Next we have the upper quartile. The upper quartile is going to be 3n by 4. Okay. 3n by 4 is going to be 22.5. Again, this is not a whole number, so round it up. We get the 23rd value. Okay, and that is going to be 1 plus 4, 5. So this is the fifth value. This is 5 plus 9, the 14th value. So this is 14. 14 plus 12, this is the 26th value. Okay, we need the 23rd. So 26, 25, 24, 23. This is an answer. And that is going to be 4 point. Okay, be careful. The same is 4. Okay, so 4.7 millimole per liter. And we are also asked to find the mode. Okay, for mode you just need to look at the data. There is no calculation for n. Okay, which value repeats the most often. Okay, notice that 1 is repeating the most often here, but that is for 5. Okay, so this is 5.1. You cannot combine the ones for different stems together. Okay, so this one is for 5 only. Okay, this one is for 4 only. This one is for 2 only. Okay, this 6s. Okay, we have 3 6s here. Those 6s are only for 3. We have 4 7s here, and no one has more than 4 7s, or no one has any number which repeats more than 4 times. We have 3 here, we have 2 here, we have 2 here, we have 2 here, but no one is there more than 4 times. So this is our winner over here, the mode, and the winner is going to be 4.7 millimole per liter. Okay, so again over here the box plot did help us easily find out who the median is, who the median, the upper lower quartiles, and also the mode. Okay, so that is again the advantage of this visual diagrams, is that just by looking at the diagram we'll be able to determine how the information is arranged. Also notice one more thing. Okay, even though the question is not asking for this, notice that from here you can also determine that there are a lot of data points which take place later. Okay, initially we have a small number of data points, but later we have a large number of data points. Okay, there are more data points in the higher stems than in the lower stems. Okay, and this will be using this information in the next section to describe skewness. Okay, here just by looking at the the stem and leaf diagram, you can determine that we have more data points in the higher stems than in the lower stems. There are less number of data points here than here. There are more data points in the higher stems. Now let's consider the next example. In the next example, we are given, okay, the resting pulse rate for 16 boys and 23 girls at a school, okay, and the results are given in two different tables, okay, one for the girls and one for the boys, and they're asking us to construct a back-to-back stem diagram. Now, back-to-back stem diagram means you have both of them on the side, okay. So we have one stem diagram on the right, one stem diagram on the left. Okay, so over here, since you have boys and girls, the boys are on the right, the girls are on the left. Okay, it doesn't matter, the order doesn't matter. You could put the boys on the left and the girls on the right as well. It doesn't make a difference, but it's just that they are both on the same diagram. Okay, we are drawing both of them on the same diagram. Okay, now again, the data is not arranged. Okay, neither the boys nor the girls are arranged. So the first step would be to arrange the data. Okay, because the leaves should always be arranged. Okay, so the first step is arrange data, which I'll not be doing over here. I'll be just directly moving on with the answer that they have written down on page 42. On page 42, okay, on page 42 they have given us the lowest stem is 4 and the highest stem is 9. Okay, so the lowest stem is 4, the highest stem is 9. Notice the lowest stem is 4, the highest stem is 9. For the boys, for 4 we have only 46. Okay, for 4 we have 46. For 5 we have 0, 7, 9. For 6 we have 60, 60, 64, 65, 67, 68. For 70s we have 71, 72, 74, 75. For 8 we have 80. For 9 we have 91. For the girls, okay, so this is for boys, so in that case do need to mention that this is boys, okay, and this side is for girls. In that case do mention that it is girls, okay, because if we do not mention this, in that case someone reading this diagram would not be able to understand which side belongs to whom. Okay, so you need to label the two sides. On the left side we have 40, 54, 55, 58, 60, 64, 66, 72, 76, 78, 79, 80, 80, 80, 84, 85, 88, and finally for 90 we have 90, 91, 92, 92, 96 and 98. Okay, so notice that we have the boys on the right side, we have the girls on the left side. That's why this is called a back-to-back stem diagram, because they're both back-to-back, sharing the same stems. Okay, but the leaves are different. Okay, and the leaves should always be in ascending order. For boys it is ascending order as you move right. Okay, for girls it is ascending order as you move left. Okay, so the smallest value is always the smallest value is always going to be close to the stem. Okay, you start from the smallest, you move to the largest. Again, for the girls, you start from the smallest, move to the largest. Okay, and now we are done with the stem diagram, but you do have to put out a label, and especially when you say label, we are putting that down the key. So the key over here is going to be key. In the previous case, notice because we just had one side, okay, we had just a one-sided stem and leaf diagram, we put 1 by 4 is equal to 1.4. Here we have two sides, so we need to mention both the sides. Okay, so in this case we mention 0, 4, 6. Okay, this means 46 for the boys and 40 for the girls. Okay, we do need to explain both the sides. Okay, so in this case 0, 4, 6 means 40 for the girls and 46 for the boys. Okay, and even though you're done with the stem diagram, we can still include our frequencies if we want to. Okay, it's a good idea to include the frequency. For the boys you have 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 4, 0, sorry, not 0, excuse me, 1, 1. Okay, let's check out the total. The total is 10 and 16. Okay, which does match the total in the question. The question says there are 16 boys. Okay, so in that case the total should be 16. If it does not match 16, in that case you have made some error and it should try to revise what you have done over here. Over here, let's see, for the girls we have 1 3 3. So 1 3 3, then you have is 4 6 and 6, and the total is 23. Yeah, so it does match. The totals for both sides do match what is given in the question, so we have constructed the diagram correctly. Now with that done, next the question says to comment on the results. Okay, so over here the only thing you can comment is that we do not know the mean, we do not know the mean, we do not know the median, we do not know the interquartile, the quartiles. Okay, so just by looking at the diagram we can notice that there are for the boys we have more values in the lower stem. For the boys we have more values in the lower stem. Okay, and for the girls we have more values in the higher stem. Okay, for boys you have more values in the lower stem, for girls you have more values in the higher stem. In other words, okay, when you write down your answer you need to always write in context. Okay, so in this case the context should be boys seem to have lower pulse rate than girls, because that's the question. The question is about pulse rate, not about blood glucose. Okay, be careful about what the question is saying. Okay, whenever this kind of comparison questions come, you need to always compare with the context in mind. Okay, so the question is the question is resting pulse rate, so in that case do mention the resting part. Okay, and so the question is about resting pulse rates. In that case do mention the resting pulse rate. Okay, so over here just by looking at this diagram, okay, without doing any further calculations, you can see that the boys seem to have a lower pulse rate, okay, than the girls. Okay, because the boys have more numbers on the lower stems than the girls. The girls seem to have more numbers on the higher stems. Okay, so that's without even calculating any mean or median. Just by looking at the stem and leaf diagram, you can make this conclusion. Now let's say that if you want to find out the let's consider an example. Let's say that if you want to find out for the girls, if you want to find out the mode, okay, the mode for the girls would be, let's see, nothing repeats. We have 0 repeating 3 times, no one else repeats more than 3. We have 2 here. Okay, so in that case this is the clear winner, which is 80. So in that case, let's talk about the mode. For girls it is going to be 80. The unit is bits per minute, I'm guessing. The question does not say the unit, but I'm guessing it is bits per minute. Okay, so it is 80 bits per minute. For the boys it is going to be, we have 0 0, there is nothing else that repeats more than that, so it is going to be 60 bits per minute. Okay, now the median is going to be, for the boys we have 16 data points. Okay, for the boys we have 16 data points, so 16, in that case half of it is 8, 1/4 of it is 4, and 3/4 of it is 12. So in that case 8 means we need the 8th and the 9th data point. So we have the 1st, the 4th, the 10th. So this is the 10th one. We need 8 and 9. Okay, because this is discrete data, we need to take the mean of 2 values. Okay, so the 10th, 8th and 9th are these two. Take them, so 65 and 67, take the mean of them, you'll get 66 bits per minute. Okay, now for the girls we have 23 data points. So since you have 23 data points, half of it is going to be 11.5. Half of it is 11.5. 11.5 is not a whole number, so round it up, we get the 12th value. So the 12th value is going to be the 12th value is going to be 1 4 7 11. Okay, so this is the 11th value. I'm just adding up these values here. 1 4 7 11. we need again the 12th value. So this is the 11th value, the 12th value is this one. Okay, so this is the 12th value, so that is going to be 80 bits per minute. Now Q1, this lower quartile is going to be, for the boys it is n by 4 is 4, which is a whole number, so we need the 4th and the 5th value. First value, 4th value, 5th value is this one, so 4th value this one and this one, these two are the ones we'll take the mean for. 59 and 60, that's going to be 59.5. Okay, take the mean for both of them, 59.5. Let's talk about the upper quartile for the boys. It is the 12th value. Okay, 3n by 4 of 16 is 12. Okay, so the 12th value is going to be, since it is a whole number, you need the 12th and the 13th value and take the mean. So 1, 3 is 4 plus 6 is 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. So we need the 12th and the 13th value and take the mean, and that is going to be 73. Okay, bits per minute. For the girls, we need the, for lower quartile we need 5.75. Again, it's not a whole value, whole number, so round it up. We need the 6th value. So we have 1, 4, 5 and 6. So this is the 6th value. That's going to be 64 bits per minute. Now the upper quartile is 17.25 value. Okay, round it up, we get 18. Okay, so the 18th value is going to be again 1, 4, 7, 11. Add 6, so this is 17. Okay, so this is 17, we need 18, so this is the 18th value, and that's going to be 90 bits per minute. Okay, now notice, just by looking at this data, just by in the previous case, just by looking at the data, we said that the boys seem to have a lower resting pulse rate. Now we tried to get some more data from our